Hello and welcome to the Trade Ideas Market Recap for Friday, December the 5th. My name is Barry Anderson. I'm the moderator of the trading room. This is the address to get in, and you can log in with your Facebook or your Twitter account. Very active day for me. Let me just get right to the charts and start talking about the trades that I posted in the room today. Nothing spectacular, but it was a steady day. A couple of losers and a few winners. Let's take a look at five. Five was the first one. Now, five again, this is, I'm really concentrating a lot on these ones in the pre-market. These are the ones that have been really beat up, and I'm looking for some kind of a reversal. And it may not happen. Big was a classic example of something that just didn't work at all. And but five, we looked at in the pre-market, and I basically identified it as something that I wanted to watch for a potential reversal. Now, to be fair, this was, I got kind of lucky on this one because this was very, very fast. Um, here we are. This is all the pre-market here, and the market opens right here on this bar here, obviously. So this is all the pre-market, and it's going down. And then in the pre-market, now these are 5-minute candles. And so I took the trade at 37.81. It looked like it on this nice candle here. And immediately, this next candle, 5-minute candle again, I closed out at 38.18 and 38.20 on this next candle. You see, it got all the way up to 30. What is it here? 38.50. But again, I'm sure at that point I can't quite remember, but I think the spread was getting kind of wide between the bid and the ask. And so I was happy to very quickly exit this one for some good profit right at the beginning of the day. And let's see what it's doing now. I don't, yeah, you see it's really doing, again, with 37.81 was my entry, so it's still below that. So, and you can see it went all the way down to $36. And hard, I just forgot about it. It didn't, yes, it bounced or reversed, but it didn't hold it. And it was a very, kind of a bit of a stressful trade. The next one was ARMH. And this one, I'm going to have to back it up to get to where my entries were. And now this one was a strong one. And basically, I took this trade when it broke over the whole number. The whole number is 44. So I took the trade at 44.14 and, was hoping for obviously, let's see, I got up to 44.28. That's right. And I didn't sell it. And then it came right back down, and I sold it basically at my break even at 44.14. It just didn't, it was going up and down, up and down. It's hard to see on the 5-minute candles, but this was quite active, and it was sort of, I know a couple of people were in it. I think they got stopped out a couple of times, and so now, subsequent to that, it has done quite well, reasonably well. I mean, 44.14, it's up to 44.59, so it's not like it's done incredibly well, but it was just a very difficult one to trade, and I was glad to get rid of it. It just takes too much time and effort to watch some of these things, especially when you have I can't really remember on this one if the spread was that bad, but it's difficult to put in like an auto stop with your brokerage platform when you've got stocks with wide spreads. I mean, you might put a stop in at just for argument's sake 44, but it could blow right through there. The bid could drop below 44, and you could get taken out at 30 or 43.80 as an example. So these ones I kind of have to babysit them, and unless I go fairly quickly or I'm in a profitable position fairly quickly, then I don't like holding on to them. Now, this was a fun one. GCO, again, identified as one of those stocks. Here it is, right at the bottom. I mean, it's down $9, okay? And I think it was down a lot more than that. Or maybe that's the worst it is now. I don't know. But yeah, I guess it is. But let me just go back to more to the beginning, and you can see here's the open at 9:35, 9:30. So the big down candle, it was already down though, and it just kept falling down. Now, this was a really, really tough one to get into, and I think I probably did this with the 3-minute candles. Let me just see if that makes sense. Yeah, you see, I've got maybe not. sort of go back and forth. But the bottom line is this, is that I got into that trade. It's a little difficult to see, but it's at 73.15. Now this one was really a bad spread. And I was lucky enough to get some at 73.15 to be honest, because no sooner did I get it that this next candle formed, and we're at 73.65 already, and then up here 73.87. So I took out half at 73.87, and then it started to fall, and and again the spread widened, and I got out the second half at 73.29. Again, a pretty stressful trade because you just never know when the bottom's going to fall out of it. And you can see here it got down to 72.92, and then down here 71.38. And now it's well 71.30. So the bottom line, though, is that these are not easy trades. I took it because it looked like it wanted to hold the whole number, 73, and I got a little bit fortunate that I got the fill that I wanted, and then immediately it gave me the gains, but then very quickly it gave them up. So not for everybody. I actually said in the room, not for the faint of heart. Now, big, this was a tough one. Big was again on the list right from the beginning in the pre-market. We could see that big was having just a not a good day. In fact, let's take a look at the daily chart, and this one might be, if you're inclined at all. Let me look at a monthly chart. If you're inclined at all to swing short, this might not be a bad one, because I mean here we are at 40.92, and you might get some support down here at 26. So I'm going to be watching this one on Monday. I don't generally, in fact, to be honest, I don't think I've ever held a stock short as a swing play trade. I not quite sure why, but it just maybe goes against the grain. But if I had to, this would be one I would look at, and because it's got this huge gap to come down, and why is anybody going to buy this? It's already had a bad day here. I think it was an earnings play, so it's had its bad day, and it doesn't look hasn't been well defended. Let's take a look again at the 5-minute chart, and the low of the day is 41.04, so it's basically at the low of the day. So I don't know. It's going to be one of those ones I'm definitely going to watch. Actually, that's not right. It's obviously down here, 40.55. So I'm not sure. Oh, here we are. The low is 40.50. So it's a little bit above the low, but not that much, and it's down $7 still. So what did I do? I didn't make money on this one. Let me just bring it back into something that we can see here. And yeah, I think I got in here at 41.39. It was chopping all around. This was really wild, up and down. Tried to time it here. Thought this is a little better look. Looked like it was trying to consolidate here, and big does have the ability to be quite dynamic, and obviously hoping that maybe it would gain a dollar or two before it started its fall again. But it just didn't happen, and I exited fairly luckily, actually, at 41.32. So I was in at 41.39, 41.32 I got out. It was just too erratic for me, and you can see it teased us a lot right here again, and I just gave up on it. So that was big. Now FMC was, this is my breakout scan, and this is just really the reverse of the bouncers. I mean, now we're looking for stocks that are going up several candles in a row. And typically, what I would do with this, or the idea behind this one, is actually the reverse of the bouncers, that you would short these breakouts. But I've been noticing that a lot of them seem to keep going for a while anyway. So I decided this one because, and the reason I took it was because I got in at 57.09. So it just got over the whole number. And I thought, okay, well, it's cracked the whole number. It may have, that might be enough for people to pile onto it for a little bit. And so I got in at 57.09, and I took half out at 57.25 here, and then the other half at a little over the 57.09 to 57.12. So no great shakes, but it's interesting for me to play around with these breakouts. Ultimately, if this market ever decides that it wants to have, a couple of weeks or a couple of months in a row of being down, these breakout plays are going to definitely turn into nice short opportunities, I think. But right now, I can't rely on them to short immediately. So I just kind of watch and I kind of test it to see whether, especially if it breaks over the whole number. I think, okay, the worst was going to happen is my stop was going to be the whole number, so I'm in at 57.09, so I got to have a 9 cent stop. So not very much risk in my opinion. The next one was FET, FET, and this didn't work. This worked out pretty well. And this, I think, yeah, this came on my bounce play. 2105 was the alert. And I like this one. Look at all the down count. Now, the only problem with this is that it is technology, energy stock, and beaten up and all that. And it's tough to, the sector is just so beaten up that it's hard for anybody to get excited about it. And so I decided though to take the trade because again, here it is, 2111. It had held the whole number. Here we are, well, 2096, and then it came back up and it was holding the whole number not too badly. So again, I thought, my risk is going to be about 11 cents at the whole number. So I took the trade here. And it actually worked out quite a lot better than I thought. I indicated that this is probably going to be more like a scalp. And so I took the first half out at 2126. And then I waited quite a bit. And, I almost got out right here at my buy. But I thought, you know what? It didn't go below it. Or just touch below it, so I thought I'm just going to hold and see what happens. And all of a sudden, right around here, the energy stocks. We saw a lot of energy stocks rising, and I have no idea why. I don't really care, but I was able to get out at 21.41. So actually turned into a really nice trade, 30 cents, a longer hold than I'm used to, perhaps, but it worked out really well. GPS. This one did not work out. The gap. Yeah, this one again came from my bounce play. Here we are, GPS at 40.45. And excuse me. So I took the trade. What's my notes here? 40.55, I think. Yeah, I took the trade right here. So here's where I was alerted to it. Looked like it had stopped. Here's the green candle. So I took it above this last candle. And I thought, okay, another scalp situation. Maybe it could get up to 85. So from 55, which I'm in at, to 85 isn't bad, especially if it goes fairly quickly. It didn't happen. It will happen later, but it didn't happen, and so I exited the trade fairly quickly. 40. So I lost 7 cents there. The minute I'm in a losing position on one of these bounce plays, I don't hang around too long. And, I mean, certainly if I'd held on a little longer, I would have lost a little bit more money. But now I noticed it did bounce up, but, by this time, I think I was on to other things. And the last trade to talk about, interesting. This came, now this is the Royal Bank. Now the Royal Bank is a pretty sleepy, big bank stock out of Canada. Uh, you can see here, BMO, Bank of Montreal, and the Royal Bank, both alerted at the same time, and they're both around the same price. And so I decided to take Royal Bank, and I really, in this case, I was literally playing it just for about 10, 15 cents. I did sell too soon. I basically got 10 cents out of it, took it at 69.60, right, once this green candle was put in. And so I took it right here and watched it a little bit. And as this one came down, I decided to exit it. Just wasn't sure what was going to happen. Really didn't think we'd put in a 30 or 40 cent move. And BMO, I think, probably did the same thing. Here's where the alert would have been, kind of jogged around, and so I could have taken this at 69.65. So virtually the same thing. In fact, I think so at 69.68. And what's the Royal Bank right now? 69.68. I have to make sure we're talking about the same stock. No, they're both exactly the same, and they both acted exactly the same. So interesting one. Now the only other one. Oh, let's take a look, see if my HR block is, yeah, geez. Again, I could have got out a little higher here. I have one more day to hold it, and that'll be Monday, so we'll have to see what happens. Now, I mentioned in the room that I'm kind of intrigued by this one. And not for everybody. It's a very low volume, 41,000 shares only. But take a look at, see if it shows up on the daily. No, have to get to the, say, the monthly chart. You can see what a huge gap there is to fill. It's up to 43 here, even a down here of 35, and we're sitting at about 25. I think if it goes over 25, I may take a little swing position in this one. It's already had a big bounce. I mean, to be honest, I mean, obviously from 16 to 25, that is a big bounce. It just doesn't trade that much. So, but it does have a ways to go. So I think if it could consolidate around here, I might have to take a look at it, especially if it can consolidate just under 25 for a few days and then pop over it and maybe get some volume into it. I mean, it just doesn't really trade very much. If we go to the daily chart, let's just see what an average day is. Even this big day here, it's only 600,000 shares the day that it popped up here, and 106. This is a very bad day, 42,000. I mean, it's just completely fallen off. So I'm going to watch it. I'm going to put an alert over 25 and just see what happens. So there you have it. Pretty good day in the room. A lot of excitement, a lot of ideas were tossed out there. Again, I reiterate, I hope you come into the room. If you watch these videos and you're just sort of not coming into the room, I don't quite know why you wouldn't be, because certainly in the pre-market we talk about some good opportunities, and I certainly focus on these ones that are going to potentially reverse. I mean, do they always reverse? Of course not. And even if they do reverse, are they coming out of a good pattern? Not necessarily. So and I'm not saying that you just take the trade just because I say this is going to be a bounce potential or a reverse potential. But come on into the room, see what we're doing, and I think you'll be suitably impressed. So let's just get back to the cover page. Here's the address to get in, and you can log in with your Facebook or your Twitter account. Hope to see you in the room on Monday.